Now that's how you grab people's attention. So I was re-watching the Steins Gate anime in the lead up to its pseudo-sequel, Steins Gate 0, and also drowning my sorrows with the Ace Attorney anime, because apparently that's my job.
I'll have the salt.
A thought came to me. Just how important are the first impressions for anime adaptations, especially for video games? Now, a majority of anime is made to promote the light novel or manga it is based off. However, on occasion, you do get some that only have a video game as its source material. And I will be looking at 2 examples today. Now, a huge reason anime even get made is to promote its source material, to sell more weekly or monthly copies. But video games are released as complete products. Why would you want to play the video game after watching the exact same story in the anime? The answer is merchandise. That's right. Merchandise. As during an anime's weekly showing, a ton of merchandise will get made to be sold to fans watching the anime. It's a great marketing tactic, make something to bring your property into the trending spotlight and remind people, oh yeah, here's some little extra goodies with all your favorite characters made with only the highest quality materials.
Great, you're crazy.
However, there are some that go, how about instead of that, we actually make a well-made anime? One that has artistic merits, that brings intrigue and wonder. This will be people's first impressions on the franchise after all. And then, in addition to selling the merchandise, maybe, just maybe, it might bring in new fans to the series. And this is exactly what happened with the anime, Steins Gate. So, Steins Gate was a visual novel released in 2009 that managed to mix excellent writing, interesting characters, great voice acting, and a plot about time travel that had the least loose ends. Now, at the time, there was no legal way for Western fans to even know of this game or anything about it unless they knew Japanese or followed Japanese gaming closely. Which is why the airing of the anime was instrumental in helping grow the franchise in the West. The anime aired in 2011 and is critically praised by numerous fans on how well it presented its themes and content. Now don't worry, I won't spoil the ending here, but I do want to go through the introduction to the show to explain just how Steins Gate managed to hook viewers like myself into its world. Episode 1 opens up with our protagonist Okabe Rintaro.
Hoin Kyoma.
Yeah, that. Monologuing about the universe, while we see images of power lines spinning around and an ominous ticking clock in the background. Then boom! Overexposed color palette, making the area feel almost ethereal and otherworldly, as if some god is basking his influence down onto Earth. Everything about the introduction was not something you see in an average everyday anime, whether it be the trippy visuals or the foreshadowing of the ticking clock. Throughout the episode, you see interesting panning shots, unique camera angles tilted at various angles, close-ups, far shots, everything possibly done to make the subject engaging. So as the story goes, Okabe and his childhood friend go to a lecture on time travel, but a rumbling interrupts them. He runs upstairs to check on it, and he finds what looks to be a satellite on the roof, but someone official looking tells him not to worry about it. His childhood friend then goes to try her luck in those terrible gambling machines, which give you horrible prizes. You know you're never gonna win anything good, and she won a rare item.
Finally.
And now we have the lecture where Okabe argues with the professor in only a way a lawyer would be proud of. Interruptions abound as a beautiful redhead scolds him for ruining the lecture like that, and he childishly runs away. God, I love him. And during all this, there is absolutely no background music at all. And only during the 7th minute, the track finally kicks in. An ominous tone plays while we hear a blood blood-curdling scream upstairs. The camera changes from first person to tilted angles, while Okabe walks into the room and sees the red-headed girl now lying on the floor in a pool of her own blood, dead. The music continues as Okabe walks outside and texts his friend Daru on what has happened. And as he presses send, the visuals shift and we hear chimes, reinforcing that otherworldly feeling. The white noise continues as Okabe finds that everyone has disappeared. No one except his friend is around him. And he looks up to see the satellite on the roof now smashed into the side of the building. 10 minutes in, the opening starts. The anime then shows Okabe's day-to-day life while he struggles to figure out what happened with the message and how nobody remembers him sending it. And then the episode ends with another hook. The red-headed girl he saw before is now alive and well, standing right in front of him. All of this in only 24 minutes of animation, and that is how this show hooked me and many others onto the franchise. Now I know it helped that the actual plot of Steins Gate aided the hook of the death of the waifu, but this all worked in tandem with the various camera angles, the pacing, the voice acting, the music choices. Everything done here was artistically driven and not just made as a cheap cash grab to sell merchandise. The quality of this first episode hooked many people onto this anime and made us strap in for the bumpy ride. And well, would I say I'm now a fan of Steins Gate? I don't know, you tell me. And with that, the PC game got translated over, the Vita and PS3 versions came afterwards, the pseudo-sequel also reached our sunny shores, and companies are looking into bringing more of the related content over since fans have been heavily demanding them. It can be safe to assume that the anime was a huge factor in making the Western fans become part of the series, and for them to crave more from the creators. Well, that's all well and good, but unfortunately, not all anime can have that level of quality, because sometimes you just want to make a quick buck and pump something out for the fans of the games and not try and win any new people over. And then, you get this. So, the Ace Attorney anime. Yes, I have talked at length on the animation, but I don't want to repeat myself here. I just want to look at the first episode and how vastly different it is to Steins Gate. Yes, I know Ace Attorney doesn't start as intensely, but then again, Steins Gate managed to evoke a feeling so similar to the one while playing its game. It made you understand that this was how the visual novel was represented, and by watching this, you weren't missing out. And then maybe once you've finished, you can just jump straight into the next game of the franchise. So I want to show how Ace Attorney just misses the mark with it trying to capture the game's tone, and in doing so, loses the chance at hooking new fans into the series, who will now never touch the games with a proverbial 10-foot pole. The Ace Attorney game was released on the Game Boy back in 2001, then localized with the DS, and by the time the anime came out in 2016, there were already multiple games in the series, so in saying that, the games have picked up as many fans as they could. Now with each new game's release, you have to understand and have played the old games to get a lot of the references and character development. I mean, you could jump in here, but you would miss out on so much by not playing the old ones. Capcom, to their credit, have ported a bunch of the old games to the newer consoles to bring some people in, but that doesn't seem to have worked as well as they would have liked. So what do you suppose they do? How about announce an anime that wouldn't have any new content for the current fans, but just a retelling of the games? Oh, okay, well, if the anime is done well, maybe, just maybe, it might bring new fans to the franchise in a similar way that Steins Gate did for many people.
Great, you're crazy.
It was made in a rushed and poorly executed manner to sell some cheap merchandise to the existing market. Or fine, okay, maybe it was made to bring new fans in, but it still was poorly executed on all fronts. So with the first game, it starts straight off by showing you the murder of the first victim. You know who the murderer is and how they want to pin the crime on somebody else. Then it cuts to the court waiting room, where Phoenix Wright is shown to be incredibly nervous and anxious, as this is his first ever trial he has to partake in. The game makes us understand his underdog status, which makes his growth in each case so much more remarkable. His only reason to taking a murder case is that his childhood friend is the accused, and he owes his entire life to him. And we of course meet this friend, and he comes across as slightly deranged. Oh boy, he isn't gonna make this easy for us. The music and atmosphere make you feel on edge, but calm at the same time. It's your first big case, but you definitely know he didn't do it, and you want to make it up to him in any way possible. So how does the anime start then? Well, okay, nice to show the murder with the same framing. Alright, let's just cut to Phoenix, who's in California, moving boxes, and happy, riding his bike, with cheerful music. Isn't this engaging? Where's the nerves? You have to defend your childhood friend on a murder charge. You owe your whole life to him. He might go to jail because you're just a rookie. How can new fans get invested in your story when you're going around smiling all calm and composed on your first day as a rookie lawyer? Now I would have liked to go into more detail on the episode, but it just plays like the game, albeit switching some small things around. The camera work just feels so bland, music seems to be off-putting, and the whole production just seems cheap. Maybe cheap is an understatement. Well, at least they made it functional, allowing it to be aired on TV, getting those sweet merchandise deals out the door. It's just so sad to see a great game series get one chance to have a really good push to win over new fans, to bring in people who could fall in love with the franchise and then buy any of the future games. All of it thrown away for a quick buck. And you can see online how disappointing this is, with discussion each week dropping. People in non-Ace Attorney communities not really caring at all or following along. People clearly stating how they probably just should have played the games instead. Fans every week telling them to do so, before it's too late and the story gets spoiled. Now just imagine, the viewers who don't even browse Reddit have just watched those episodes, and this is their only representation of the games. They just watch the anime and think to themselves, oh, is this really what the games are about? Okay, no thank you. And yes, maybe it might have a reverse effect. By being a bad adaptation, it might convince people to play the games instead. But then it's kind of an odd choice to spoil the games by retelling the same exact stories. Or maybe I'm just nitpicking.
Don't be a butthead!
Even another example of this is with Danganronpa, another hybrid visual novel that got an anime to promote merchandise and not its source material. While the episodes were better animated than Ace Attorney, the story was rushed. Not much artistic style was there in the editing or camera work, and we have people like Demolition D, a big anime YouTuber at the time, release one of his most disliked videos where he made fun of it. The comments are filled with people telling him and others to ignore this and try the games, but from what I can tell, he will never play them. No amount of fan outcry will change that, because this was his first impression on the series, this was the first thing he saw about Danganronpa, and now this is his representation of the franchise. I honestly just wish companies in Japan would look at how the anime can actually impact the whole franchise on a whole. Maybe think to themselves, wow, there is only one chance to make an anime on the games. Why don't we make it as well as we possibly can to bring new people in, to become fans, to buy all the future games, and even then it will sell merchandise due to how popular it is.
Should I care what you think?
That's true. I'm just just some random on the internet who is a die-hard fan of the franchises these companies own and just wish they would try and promote these great series instead of just cheaply appealing to the current fans. You only get one shot for a first impression and you don't want to screw it up.
そうですね。
Also, here's a fun fact. Steins was made in 2011. Ace Attorney was made in 2016.
I'll have the salt.
But anyway, what do you think? Are there any other examples of this? Any other anime adaptations that did a horrible job of making people fans of the franchise? Let me know down below. And that's it from me. I'm just gonna go pre-order some Steins merchandise and cry that this is the only thing that we can buy from the Ace Attorney anime. See you on the next video!